Sure. So my name's John Bruno, and I am Vice President of Product Management at Elastic Path Software. Elastic Path Software is a headless commerce platform, and there I'm responsible for product strategy, product direction, and execution. Manufacturers today need to start building direct relationships with their customers because increasingly what we're seeing is customers and consumers have a preference to actually interact with, to shop from, but more so to learn more about the offerings that manufacturers have. Really the most authoritative source of product information and what's going to boost confidence in the buying process of today's consumers is actually interacting directly with manufacturers. But to date, they haven't had exposure to who those customers are, what those customers care about, and how those customers transact. And so really, they're blind to those customer relationships, relying on their channels and retailers who are actually interacting with their customers. So getting a hold of that information is not only going to allow them to deliver more appropriate products to their customers, but also build new products that their customers are looking for in the future. So when manufacturers foster more direct relationships with their customers, they're able to understand what their customers care about more. If you're able to do things like analyze trends and what customers are searching for, how much time they're spending looking at different products, then you're able to start tailoring the products that you actually produce towards those customers' needs, to start anticipating what kinds of solutions that they're going to need in the future. Manufacturers have a unique opportunity to deliver experience-driven commerce. In today's world, it's rather routine for a consumer to interact with a retailer, either in person or online, and browse what products are available. But manufacturers have a unique opportunity to tell a story and provide more context around what it is they offer and why it might be unique or valuable to consumers. So rather than kind of forcing them down the path of a product catalog and category and product detail pages of how you might do your research, a manufacturer has an opportunity to put a story, a narrative around what it is they offer to the market in a new and compelling way to capture consumers' attention and capture consumers' loyalty. Today's manufacturers face a host of different challenges, but I would say none are as pressing as maintaining and fostering the existing relationships they have today with their channel partners and retailers. So although consumers want to interact more with manufacturers and manufacturers crave to have a more direct relationship with their buyers, they still need to develop that in a way that's not going to overly disrupt their channel partners and retailers. So it's all about focusing on the value that you deliver to your channel while also providing that unique value and relationship and intimacy with your end shoppers. So there's a whole slew of technologies available to help retailers facilitate in-person and online commerce experiences. And we've seen a radical evolution in that market. And so increasingly, manufacturers in particular are looking for solutions that blur the lines between different business models. That business model could be purely B2C or direct to consumer. It could be B2B in how they sell to their channel partners. It could be B2B to B, B2B to C, or really any kind of new emerging business model. And so the technology choices they have to make need to really focus on flexible transaction platforms, flexible commerce platforms to enable the complexities of that B2B or B2B to C environment while still allowing the manufacturer to create really compelling digital experiences that are going to captivate modern B2C buyers. So there are new and unique challenges in front of retailers today based on the technology decisions they've made in the past. Online commerce and retail has been around now for decades, and as such, the investments made in technology and platforms to support these new and emerging digital businesses have oftentimes been made years ago. And as modern consumers change and their behaviors change so rapidly, it becomes difficult for businesses to keep up. So businesses now need to start reevaluating the technology decisions that they've made in the past and which technology decisions that they're going to need to make in the future to make sure that they're operating at the same level of agility to meet their new buyers where and when they are. So there are a number of ways to build direct relationships with customers. And I think for most manufacturers, it starts with who their channel partners are. It starts with who their retailers are. So what value can you as a manufacturer provide to that retailer in return for better understanding of who those customers are? So if I'm a manufacturer, I might want to think about the kinds of content or information that I make available to my retail channel so that they can better capture those customers on their end. And in return, I might negotiate for more access to who those buyers are. So when that transaction is effectively made through a retailer, what can that retailer share back with me in terms of who that customer is, what their demographic is, what their buying patterns were, so that I can fold those insights back into not only how I build my products, but also how I build my digital business. So there are going to be a lot of trends that you hear about from NRF around what's next for 2020. And for me, I think the biggest trend is that we are continuing to see the blurring of lines between what a traditional B2C retailer is and what a more conventional B2B relationship is. Historically speaking, we've seen those worlds in very different lights, but increasingly, every brand that looks and feels very B2C or direct to consumer is going to start embracing more B2B business models to reach a broader market. And increasingly, more brands that you would associate as B2B, well, they're facing mounting pressures from their customers to deliver a more direct experience. And so increasingly, those two worlds, both on the consumer side and the business side, are going to blur, and businesses are going to look to rationalize their technology investments to make sure that they're delivering the maximum return on their technology investments, while at the same time supporting the unique requirements of both sides of that equation. So the topic of social selling has come up quite a bit, and I think this is a real area of opportunity for brands and manufacturers in particular. It offers them new ways of creating direct relationships with their end buyers and end consumers without introducing any conflict or any risk or uncertainty as to what that relation looks like with their existing retail partners. So I can share new information and new updates and new product launches directly with who my end buyers are, while still maintaining that retail relationship between them and my retail partners. So I can introduce a new spring lineup of fashion and apparel, and at the same time, promote the relationship that I have with my retailers so that those consumers get excited about my new products and offerings and go to my retailers to actually make that transaction. So here at NRF, we've heard a lot more questions than we've heard in the past about headless commerce. And headless commerce is a term that's probably new to many. So what makes it a little bit different than the kind of commerce platforms and approaches to delivering commerce experiences than we've seen in the past is that whatever you want to create for your front-end experience, if you want to invest in the digital experience that you provide to your buyers and end users, you're no longer tied down to a conventional or templatized storefront. You're no longer forced through the same category and product navigation of your commerce web storefront. If you wanted to make the experience more about the content, the storytelling, the narrative that you have to offer to the market, you have the freedom to really focus on different kinds of front-end experiences. If you're looking to reach your customers where and when they are, you're actually no longer required to force them into your web store. If you want to embrace new and emerging technologies like voice, like chat, augmented or virtual reality, the Internet of Things, you now have the freedom to unlock the potential of those channels, of those interaction mediums, and deliver the ability to transact through them. So what headless commerce provides in a nutshell is really all of that underlying business functionality exposed through easy to consume APIs that make all of those touch points and channels really come to life and allow brands, manufacturers, and retailers to really activate and capitalize on that revenue potential. So I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing here at NRF is the need for businesses to capitalize on every possible channel and every possible business model. The days of talking purely about a web storefront are over. If you can't meet your customers where and when they are in their buying journey, you'll lose them. So it's about embracing them on their devices, on their touch points that they're used to using on a daily basis, be it their Alexa at home, be it their mobile device, be it a piece of connected equipment as part of a product they purchased in the past. And additionally, those same businesses are going to need to serve multiple different types of audiences and do so in an economically feasible way. So that means taking advantage of the technology platforms they have in both supporting end buyers as well as their more business relationships and the complexities that come along with that.